challenge of congestion in correctional facilities all over the world has become worrisome to all nations, with no exception to Nigeria. In Nigeria, correctional centers, just like any other ones around the globe, is experiencing congestion of inmates. This situation arises when the number of inmates in a facility exceeds the capacity for which the facility was originally designed to accommodate, thereby occasioning inconveniences on the inmates on one hand, and stress in managing them by the authorities on the other hand. Statistically, the population of remand inmates is far greater than the actual convicts. The implication of this is that if the remand inmates or awaiting trial inmates are not part of the correctional center's community, the convicts will have been conveniently accommodated with their welfare and reformation speedily achieved. It could be determined that some of the factors influencing congestion in correctional centers in Nigeria include increase in crime rates, changing dimensions and patterns of crime, scientific nature of crime, example, cybercrime, effects of social dislocation, and overburdened criminal justice system, among others. As you're all aware, it is the correctional centers that are statutorily established to keep persons to serve punishment for crimes they have committed or while awaiting trial, after being accused of a crime and not granted bail by the courts, or granted bail but not being able to meet their bail conditions. By and large, the Nigerian police force was established with the constitutional mandate to maintain law and order among other responsibilities. These duties, the police have continued to discharge proactively and effectively over the years within the limits of the available resources, even in the face of current security challenges in the country. It will interest this gathering to know that the attainment of the mandate of the Nigerian police is being hampered by a high level of distrust between the citizens and their police institution. Unfortunately, while this false relationship persists, the criminals who are supposed to be our common enemies and who persistently threaten our commonly held values of peace continue to feast on the situation to advance their criminal machinations. It is to be emphasized that no police agency in any clime across the world can succeed in its crime management mandate without the consent, partnership, and support of the citizens it was established to serve, regardless of how well equipped or trained it may be. In essence, in order to cope with the current and emerging threats, as well as attain the mandate of the Nigerian Police Force on internal security, it is imperative of the police and the citizens too, of necessity, willingly cooperate. Taking into consideration the various factors promoting crimes and criminality in a developing nation like ours, the Nigerian Police Force, under the leadership of IGP Alkali Baba Osman, PSC Daga, FDC, NPM, have consistently re-emphasized on innovations and modern approaches to improve standard operating procedure and service delivery, as well as embrace proactive and intelligence-driven security strategies to nip crime in the bud in order to ease the burden on the already overstretched criminal justice system and ensure reduction in the number of inmates in our correctional centers. Many proactive steps, which include but not limited to the following, are daily being emplaced by the force towards ensuring the decongestion of inmates in our correctional facilities. One, having come to the realization that valuable time is being wasted on minor cases which may be disposed of by the police, The Inspector General of Police has directed all police formations to ensure that the criminal justice system is not further overlabored with minor cases by granting administrative bails. This is aimed at reducing the number of inmates in correctional centers. 2. In order to enhance speedy trial, the Nigerian Police Force has adopted the use of technology at interrogation rooms as well as modern facilities to obtain statements. This will assist in gathering incontrovertible evidence to facilitate quick dispensation of justice, thereby reducing the period of awaiting trials, which by extension will aid the decongestion of our correctional services facilities. 3. Inconsistency in the appearance of police officers to give evidence at trials has been identified as one of the alleged causes of prolonged trials. In order to address this, the Inspector General of Police has mandated that officers must attend court sessions as at when due to give evidence. Disciplinary actions are being taken against officers who contravene this directive. This has increased the appearances of police officers in court, thereby enhancing speedy criminal trials and by extension the congestion of correctional centers facilities. 4. The police has also adopted the strategy of keeping tab on witnesses, particularly the prosecutor witnesses, in order to compel the appearances to give evidence on trials. This is with a view to ensuring that unnecessary delay at trials due to non-appearance of witnesses are curbed, thereby enhancing quick dispensation of justice. This ultimately has aided the congestion of the correctional centers facilities. Number 5, another proactive innovation of police under the leadership of IGP Alkali Baba Osman, PSC Daga DCMPM, is the establishment of a pool of police prosecutors and legally minded personnel of the force who are trained as prosecutors. This is aimed at increasing professional and more speedy representation by the police at trials, thereby removing undue delays, which often soar the number of awaiting trials inmates. Number 6, scientific documentation and technologically enhanced exhibit keeping is another strategy adopted by the police in order to reduce prolonged trial, which in effect will aid the congestion of correctional centers facilities. The 7th one, amicable, out-of-court settlements and peaceful resolution of conflicts to crisis, otherwise known as alternative dispute resolution mechanism, is being encouraged across police formations. In fact, trained ADR officers and decks are establishing as beats at all police formations in the country. All these are aimed towards reducing the number of cases sent to court, thereby reducing the pressure on the correctional centers facilities. Number 8, thorough, painstaking, and professional procedure of investigation of criminal cases as well as diligent prosecution has been identified as key to speedy dispensation of justice. Hence, in recent time, the Nigerian police has channeled its capacity building programs in this regard. This has greatly contributed to the efforts at the congestion of correctional center facilities. Now, the adoption of community policing strategy as the core approach to protecting lives and properties with its attendance increased community participation in crime fighting is a right step towards ensuring that crimes are detected before they occur. This has been assisting the efforts of the police at reducing the opportunity for commission of crimes, which in turn lessens pressure on the judicial system and the correctional center facilities. And lastly on this, the Nigerian police rested, taking over the burden of carrying out COVID-19 tests on suspects in police custody before being taken to court, and correctional centers. This has assisted greatly in reducing congestion of inmates in the correctional center facilities, as many of them who tested positive are being treated by the police. This window of treatment period often provides opportunities for those already sent for trials and granted bail. They cannot meet their bail conditions. To meet their conditions, release from bail by courts. This ultimately reduces the number of those being taken to correctional centers facilities. The present police management team, under the able leadership of IGP Akali of Osman, PSC Daga FDC MPN, has taken up the challenge to address the alleged lapses. Bearing in mind that many underlying factors are noticed to create bottlenecks for speedy dispensation of justice, the police, as a component of the administration of criminal justice system, will continuously work in synergy with other components in order to achieve the desired objectives. In conclusion, it is my candid belief that the gathering of this nature is the right step in the right direction in addressing the challenges of congestion of correctional centers in Nigeria and a possible way forward. More of this is advised. And finally, I want to once again appreciate the organizers for this singular honor and rare privilege of addressing this gathering of reputable personalities. Thank you and be blessed.
In the Nigerian Correctional Service, congestion of awaiting trial persons, especially in custodial centers located in urban areas, has remained one of the major problems affecting credible service delivery. Our mandate as a service is to provide safe custody, reform and rehabilitate inmates remanded or convicted by a court of competent jurisdiction. Unfortunately, overcrowding phenomenon has continued to make a mockery of this effort. This problem, no doubt, requires a multi-dimensional approach from the national to sub-national government. I make bold to say that in recent times, the federal government, under President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, has taken some bold steps to address the challenges. In the last 5 years, the service has purchased a total of 504 vehicles and distributed them accordingly for operational purposes in a bid to ease movement of inmates to court as at when due. Also, in the area of infrastructure, the service received budgetary allocations for infrastructure upgrades, including construction of 3,000 capacity ultra-modern custodial centers in 6 geopolitical zones in the country. Although these correction centers have not been developed, but currently the work is ongoing in Kano, in a place they call Janguza, the FCT in Karishi area, and the one in Port Harcourt will soon take off. That of the northwest, located in Janguza, Kano, is close to 95% completion. Similar projects are ongoing in the Federal Capital Territory and in North Central and Bori in River State for the South-South. Plans are equally underway to extend the facility to the remaining 3 geopolitical zones. In furtherance to custodial service reformation efforts, signed the Nigerian Correctional Service Act 2019 with adequate provisions to address the problem of overcrowding in our facilities. It is hoped that the subnational government will assist in the implementation of this document, including the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, ACGA 2015, in order to have a significant progress in overcoming congestion phenomenon in our custodial centers. I believe the Policy Advocacy Conference will go a long way to further strengthen the effort of delivering a criminal justice system of our collective desire in the country.
It is important for the public to be aware that the Nigerian Correctional Service and the Ministry of Interior are trying their best. I may not be able to reiterate exactly what the challenges are with the judiciary. However, As it affects the Nigerian Correctional Service, we are doing all we can not to compromise on the traditional responsibility of the Nigerian Correctional Service, even though most of our centers are congested, and it has been a big challenge to us. The Ministry of Interior has an oversight function of the Nigerian Correctional Service, while the Nigerian Correctional Service has the responsibility to keep inmates in humane condition as much as possible, even though it follows up with the process of rehabilitation and preparations for life after incarceration. A total of 3,000 inmates are currently undergoing different degree programs with the Nigerian National Open Universities. And also, presently, the service has 12 special study centers in different custodial facilities across the country. Since the inception of this collaboration between the Nigerian Correctional Service and the National Open University, a total of almost more than 1,000 inmates have graduated from different fields of studies, such as conflict and peace resolution, political science, sociology, guidance and counseling, among others. The Nigerian Correctional Service set an enviable record with the successful containment of the first wave of COVID-19, even though there are congestion at the correctional facility, but they were able to contain the outbreak of the COVID. Considering the high risk of potential of the custodial centers, a lot of fears arose in the height of the pandemic, but gladly the proactive approach of the service as well as the Ministry of Interior and the federal government paid off. The dynamic response of the Nigerian Correctional Service is what resulted in the no COVID case in all our custodial centers. In conclusion, the Ministry of Interior will continue to do its best in supporting the Nigerian Correctional Service to meet its key mandate in line with the Nigerian Correctional Act 2019, which entails reformation, rehabilitation, and reintegration of inmates back into the society.
The issue of correctional centers is not new in Nigeria. From June 2001, for example, former President Olusegun Obasanjo set up 6 different interministerial, presidential, and working group committees on prison reforms. The situation got so unwieldy that in 2007, the same government set up a committee to harmonize the reports of the various committees. There have been many other attempts by governments and many NGOs and other professional bodies and stakeholders, including ourselves, in the past to solve this problem with no appreciable result. But we can never be tired of seeking solutions.